Alright, today I'm going to continue on with the Blazer front end. Last week I did the stabilizer bar links, and I mentioned in that video that I'd move on to the tie rod ends, and that's what we're going to do here today. I've got the vehicle up off the ground and safe. The only other thing I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to angle the wheel in my direction, and that's going to give us greater access to the inner tie rod end. Okay, let's get started. Alright, as you can see, there's no fear of this nut being rusted on here. I'm just going to start by trying to wipe off some of the grease so that we can actually get a socket on this assembly here. There should be a cotter pin, but I'm not feeling one. So that's not good. Alright, for this nut I'm going to use an 18mm socket and a 3/8 inch ratchet. And it shouldn't be on there too awful tight. Okay, we're just going to set that aside for now. We'll move on to the outer tie rod end. Okay. So you can see this one does have the cotter pin, so we need to get that out of there first. Okay, on this one we're going to use a 19mm, and you can use a deep well socket on this. Once you get them broken free, they probably come right off because of the amount of grease, at least on this one. Okay, this was a $500 vehicle, you know, I mean, and it needs a lot. So if you brought this to the shop and you were going to do your tie rod ends and your ball joints and your hubs, and you know, it's a 98, so the vehicle really may not be worth it if you're going to pay someone else to do the work. But when you can do this kind of thing yourself, it's well worth it. And if you can pick it up for 500 bucks on top of that, even better. Alright, now we need to bust these loose, so I need to grab my pickle fork. Alright, you can do it without a pickle fork, but this is just going to make the job easier. Oh, wait a minute, that's my snack. Hold on. Alright, so this is what we're actually talking about here. I bought this on Amazon for around $32. It has different sizes. You can buy individual pickle forks, but the kit is nice because you need different sizes for different things. Tie rod ends, ball joints. Okay, this particular set you can use with an air hammer, or you can use, you know, with Old Faithful if you want to slug at it. I can tell you, I've fought with tie rod ends and ball joints before owning a kit like this, and when I got this I realized I should have bought this a long time ago. Okay, if you're going to do this kind of work, the money that you save doing the job yourself is going to pay for this tool, and it makes the job that much easier. If you're just going to do this once, maybe, if you check out your local auto parts store, if you buy the parts there, they may have a loaner program where you buy the ball joints or the tie rod ends with them. They loan you the tool for the weekend. You bring it back when you're done. Okay, so check into that. But I can tell you that this is going to make the job easier. Otherwise, you better get out a big hammer and be prepared to curse a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and bust these things loose. All right, I'm just going to bust that inner joint free first. Alright, so basically the reason why this is so difficult to get out is because the shaft is tapered, and we'll look at it here when we get the new one. But basically the nut holds it on, but it also pulls that shaft down into the steering knuckle, which creates that mechanical bond. So it's not just the nut holding these on, okay? Alright, you can see I have the inner and outer tie rod ends assembled with a new adjustment sleeve. Now, in my previous video I didn't have a new adjustment sleeve, and that was a mistake because when you buy the whole thing you can get it generally the right length, okay? I can line my vehicle up with string, and I may make a video on how to do that, but just for the purposes of getting it in the vehicle and being able to go down the road, you want to get it close, right? Not that you'd want to drive for a month like this. Eventually you'd want to get in alignment. Keep in mind that one of these is going to have reverse threads. On this one it happens to be the inner tie rod end. And the reason for that is when this is mounted in the vehicle, if you turn this adjustment sleeve one way or the other, it's going to wind these in or out. So in order for that to work, one has to be a reverse thread. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and take a quick measurement, see how close we are, and then I'm going to begin mounting it in the vehicle. All right? All right, so you might want to just get some of the excess grease off, clean them up just a little bit. Just make it look a little more presentable here. Okay? So what we're going to do is just kind of feed that stud through there, come back through here, feed it through the steering knuckle. And incidentally, I did snug up the nuts on this adjustment sleeve, but I didn't torque them down, okay? So right now I'm just kind of put it all together sort of finger tight, and we'll torque it all down, which I didn't provide the torque specs on my last video. So hopefully this one's going to help people out who want to get a little more detailed. So. Okay, let me grab my torque wrench here. Alright, so let me wind it in as far as I can here by hand. The inner tie rod end has a spec of 35 foot-pounds. Interestingly enough, the outer one has a spec of 39 foot-pounds. I'm dialed in at 35 here. The adjustment sleeves, I'm going to have to move the camera just a hair. The adjustment sleeves are 16 foot-pounds, and actually you'll have to check if you have an older Blazer. They're actually different. So this is up to 2004, I believe. That's it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to straighten out the wheel just so I can get this in at a more vertical angle before I crank it down. Okay. Let me straighten the wheel out real quick. Okay, according to the torque spec site that I have, sent to me by a subscriber, Jamie Sarkeesian, thank you, 39 foot-pounds for this outer tie rod end. Okay, that's it. Okay, now I'm going to torque the bolts on the adjustment sleeve, and those are 16 foot-pounds. Incidentally, both of the nuts on this new tie rod end, inner and outer, are both 18 millimeter. Okay, and on the adjustment sleeve, we're looking at a 13 and a 12. Okay. Okay. All right, so keep in mind that the process that we've gone through here today is going to be the same or similar on many other vehicles, but you may want to verify your torque specs to make sure that they may be different on your vehicle. Okay, so there we go. So we're talking 35 foot-pounds on the inner tie rod bolt. These here are 16 foot-pounds and 39 foot-pounds on that one. So you may have to do that even after you torque it. I was accused of displaying a horrible misuse of tools on a recent video, so but this particular one is difficult to get in on. Okay, so then you just want to bend the cotter pin a little bit. Okay, you need to do the other one. Alright, so the last thing I need to do on this side is basically grease it up. I'm going to do the outer one first, and then I'm going to hit that inner one. And this one had a sealed grease cup. These are cheap tie rod ends, by the way. I probably could have done that one before I installed it, but you can get to it from underneath. So thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, I always appreciate it when people give me that thumbs up. If you want to see more of this type of stuff, hit that subscribe button right there for me, please. And leave questions and comments below. If you're coming to this video from one of my other ones on how to do the tie rod ends, let me know what you think. If this one was better, you get some torque specs. Hopefully it was a little bit more concise. Thanks for watching. Have fun.